What is up? I am Mumphy. Welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on the video. This is my 2020 Toyota Tacoma in cement gray. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that I recently added a bed rack to the back. And I kind of want to discuss what's been going on since I installed that thing. So let's get into the video. Alright, so my last video I installed the Saints Off-Road Tango bed rack, and I really do like this thing. I like the fact that it's got a ton of just mounting options. It's got a couple of spots for side lighting, and then as you come around the back you have this, I called it a spoiler in my install. It's a chase bar, and the reason it's called a chase bar is because it's got some chase light cutouts. And I will be adding some chase lights to it. Now, one of the things that I kind of ran into after installing it was not realizing how much this thing actually weighs. I didn't do a before and after weight comparison, but I will say that it is significant enough that now I have to look at a suspension upgrade. Now, as many of you know, and I've discussed this in multiple videos, is I went with an upgraded package from the dealership, and I ended up getting Bilstein 5100s all the way around. So that gave me at least a 3-inch lift, and then I did a leveling kit on the back. Now, it is the stock leaf springs, and it's got a block in the back. It's a decent setup for a beginner setup. I definitely recommend, if you're looking at maybe not adding a ton of weight into the back, that it's a good and fairly inexpensive route to go. A lot of the stuff that I've added to my Tacoma is not a cheap or cheaper option to go with. I've got the Heretic lights, I've got the Prinsu rack, I've got CBI sliders. Those are all very top tier mods that I've added to the Tacoma, and I don't plan on just stopping there. And I'll let you know about what I've kind of planned to do to fix my suspension setup now that I've added such a significant amount of weight to the back. I recently went on a road trip up to Yellowstone with this on there. Now, the one thing I noticed was how that much weight in the back affected the drivability of my Tacoma. It became real soft, kind of squishy a little bit. After driving all the way up to Yellowstone and back, I definitely have noticed a change in how the Tacoma drives. I got high beamed a lot because basically what it did is it dropped the back so much that the profile of my headlights changed and became a little bit higher. So people thought that I had my high beams on when in all actuality I didn't. I have to go through and figure out a solution for this. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys think I should do. I've got kind of an idea of where I want to go with this, so there's a little tease for a future video. But something to consider if you're gonna add a big bed rack, such as the Saints Off-Road Tango bed rack, to your Tacoma. Now, there's a lot of options for bed racks that are out there that obviously weigh a lot less. I mean, CBI has one that's just 4 individual posts. It's a lot more lower profile than what I have here. This I consider almost a cab height, but I wanted something lower, so when I decided to put a tent up there, I'm not fully killing all of the aerodynamics that I have, even though adding other stuff is going to kill it. But the idea is to keep it somewhat in line, and that's my idea for my Tacoma. So I'm going to take you down and show you kind of what issues I was running into and what's going on with my stock leaf springs. Okay, so as we kind of drop down in here, you can see there's my leaf springs there. And as we come underneath, hoping my camera can kind of pick this up, but you can see that the block is right there. So what's going on is my leaf springs are bending the opposite direction. Now, one option I could go with is just fully replacing the leaf springs, which would help solve the issue. And there's lots of different brands out there. There's Devers, there's Old Man Emu, there's Icon RTX, and there's pros and cons to each of them. What I found with Devers is that it's kind of a lot more custom built, so you can tell them what your poundage is, and then they can build the leaf spring set for your Tacoma based on that. The Old Man Emu is kind of a good starting point. It's a fairly inexpensive option. And then Icon, I believe, is kind of roughly in the middle. But I like the Icon RTX series because you have the adjustability depending on where you place the add-a-leaf. So for those of you looking for just an add-a-leaf or a leaf replacement pack, that's probably a good way to go. After having driven all the mileage, I'm planning on just redoing the entire suspension setup. But there's some options for you if you're looking at adding a heavier bed rack to your Tacoma, things to consider down the line, or even before adding a bed rack. Well guys, that's gonna kind of wrap it up for this video. I hope I was able to give you some tips or some pointers, some things to consider. Obviously I kind of jumped the gun by putting my bed rack on and not necessarily figuring out what I needed to do with the suspension. I highly recommend just kind of planning out what it is that you guys are doing with your Tacoma and your build, and what accessories you plan on putting on. Obviously, if you put on a front bumper, you're going to want to consider the weight that it's going to put there. You may lose height on your lift, and obviously if you're adding more weight, it's going to affect your lift anyway. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. Let me know what you guys are running, if you guys have already advanced past kind of where I'm at. Have you switched out your suspension? Did you just do an add-a-leaf? Did you do a full replacement? What stage did you do? Obviously, you can go up to, I think the highest I've seen is a stage 10. I don't think there's anything past a stage 10, but I could be wrong. But let me know what you guys are doing and what your guys' plans are for your build. And as always, thank you so much for joining. If you guys want to hit me up on Instagram, I'm pretty active over there, replying to messages and questions that I get. And I also reply to the comments in the videos. So be sure to leave your questions or anything like that down below. And if you like this video, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. We're almost to 1,000. And I'm just stoked. I'm so happy that you are joining me on this adventure, and I hope that I'm providing you with some good value. So thanks again. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.